One. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Let me start recording this. Thank you so much for everybody joining this this Sunday afternoon. We have some exciting news. My name is EJ, team lead for EverReflect, EVRF. I would just like to say that this is a pretty cool day because for one, we have somebody in the house that I'm super pumped to introduce, and I will unmute him as soon as he gets here. But just to say what appreciation we have for the community, because this was something that we had in place, 10 trillion tokens that were going to be burnt last Thursday. The community had about 5 days. They voted upon it, decided that we wanted to use those community tokens, not for burn, but for staking for the community. So, and I will unmute that gentleman right now. So pretty sweet though, because you think about that concept that we're able to put out a vote, people were able to voice their opinions. It was actually closer than I thought, but the 10 trillion to go into staking were actually was the winner in the end. And so thankfully, and I have unmuted this gentleman. His name is Maverick. Just a quick introduction, though. This guy, I was joking with him that I'm starting to refer to him as the professor because his knowledge on staking, what they're doing with so many other tokens is pretty incredible. Definitely the philosophy that we believe in as far as partnerships with other tokens, but he's allowing all these other legit projects to utilize his utilities and his platform at just above and beyond what you're seeing a lot of other projects willing to do, not to mention just the kindness that he's shown the EverReflect team. I don't know if he wants me to say this, but he was sick this past week. Unfortunately came down with COVID due to partying a little bit on his birthday. And even in the midst of all that, so we were having a conversation and we projected that we were going to actually do the staking on Monday. Homeboy worked through the weekend once the vote was up, even though he's under the weather, and decided to still get our contracts done. So Maverick, I've unmuted you. If you want to just jump in here and say a few words.
Hey, mate. How you going?
It's great. So awesome.
Thanks for the intro.
Well, it's true. You know, I think everybody's kind of come to that conclusion that it's hard to find good people in this space, and you're one of the best. So thank you for being here.
No worries, man. Thanks for having me for sure. So I'm still a little bit chesty coming off the back of the spicy cough COVID, but on the mend now, I think, which is good. But sorry. Just to have a quick chat about your staking pools there. EJ made contact with us just to have a chat about a few things for EverReflect actually, and we figured we might put our heads together and get some staking pools online for you guys while you're waiting for the development roadmap to be built out. So I'll just give you guys a quick run through of how the platform works for those of you who aren't familiar with staking currently. The staking concept is very similar to what if you've put or used money in a term deposit before in a bank. The concept is very similar to staking, where you're essentially, instead of investing your money in the bank, you're basically investing your tokens into a staking contract. The staking contract will then reward you essentially for putting your tokens into the contract by providing an annualized yield. So the best way to kind of show how this works would be to send you guys over just to our staking platform so you can have a look at some of the projects that are on there at the moment.
And
that
I
are currently staking.
That.
Awesome.
Yep, and I just posted a link in the Telegram.
Yeah, no worries. You'll be able to see the APRs basically is the annualized yield there. You'll be able to see that percentage base that appears next to the pool is essentially that interest rate that we were talking about for the term deposit on an annualized rate. So, for example, if you were going to, we'll just use some round numbers and we'll choose an example pool there. Just say you were doing the first Brewlabs pool, for example. And we'll just say if EverReflect, had the same APR, let's bump it up to say, for example, for 20%, and you put in 100 tokens in at the start of your stake. At the end of the 365-day period, and if we round up that APR to 20%, you would end up with 120 tokens. So you do get percentage-based return on how much that you're initially staking. Now, it's important to know as well, just to talk a little bit about how those rewards work. So in the general, or in the real world with a term deposit, when you give your money to the bank, if you give them $100 with a 10% interest rate, just using an example, you don't get that interest until the end of the term deposit. So even though you're accruing interest through the term of the year, you can't access that until that term deposit unlocks after, say, a 12-month period, and you get your initial principal plus your interest returned back to you, so your $110. The difference with staking, although the concept is very similar to a term deposit, you do have some extra features which make staking very unique for crypto, and then also beneficial for you guys as stakers. So in the pools that are on Brewlabs at the moment, we've built a special type of staking pool that will allow you to not only harvest your rewards from your interest rather from your staked amount, you can also compound it as often as you want as well. So for example, if we've got an EverReflect pool open, you'll be able to harvest your interest that you're earning, and you earn that interest actually every 3 seconds, because instead of it accruing over the end of the year and being paid at the end of the term deposit like a bank, staking will actually it'll drip you rewards every 3 seconds. So you can have the option at that point of time to either compound those rewards or harvest those rewards. So what does compound and harvest mean? So harvest allows you to basically take your earned rewards out of the staking contract, and then they will land back in your wallet, and then you can go do whatever you want with those. You can send them to another wallet, or you can hold them, or do whatever. Then you've got the option to compound, which allows you to use any earned rewards to compound your existing position in the staking pool. So it'll add your rewards to your current bag, essentially, that you've staked, therefore increasing the amount of return that you're going to get the next time you are drip fed a reward. So most people who are on the platform will usually compound once a day. You do get an extra 80% annualized yield on whatever, not 80% total, but 80% on whatever the APR is. So if the APR was 10% and you were compounding daily, then in fact you would get 18% per annum. So it is a benefit for people to compound. If you really want to, make the most out of your staking and experience, then it's probably a good idea to compound at least once a day. So you're therefore increasing your yield. Daily, essentially. The other really cool thing that we've done, which isn't too common out there, and it's something that I think we were one of the first guys to do in this particular, like this on the platform, is the reflections compound and harvest as well. So a lot of people will be asking, and if you've staked before in traditional staking pools, you'd be saying, oh, well, if I put my tokens in the pool, I'm not going to get my my trading reflection. So in EverReflect's case, it's the BUSD, I think, pretty sure it is. And so you'll be able to not only compound your rewards, your interest, but you'll also be able to compound and harvest your reflections. So you're essentially going to have that opportunity to not only get your tokens that you've bought, that you're holding in your wallet right now, to go put in the staking pool to earn staking rewards, you'll also have them capturing your reflections that you would be getting in your wallet anyway. So what's going to happen with the reflection capture Well, essentially, you'll get as the reflections are coming through, they will again arrive in the front end of the staking pool. So you'll need to jump over to where you would be looking at your current stake. You'll see that there is a just on EJ's screen there, he's got that where his mouse is, where he's got BUSD reflected. Brewlabs has the same reflections concept with BUSD, so it'll be exactly the same concept pool as what we have on our project. But you can see there where we've got Brewlabs BUSD reflected, and there's also compound and harvest there. So you've got that option again to either harvest, so you can take the BUSD that you would get as a reflection out of your staking contract and into your wallet. You can go do that. You can go use whatever you want with that BUSD. It's just as exactly the same as getting a reflection in your wallet. But the cool thing about getting BUSD reflections with this concept as well is you can compound the BUSD. Now, what that does is it will allow you to use your BUSD that you've earned in reflections to go ahead and buy more of EverReflect token. So it's going to automatically do that transaction for you. And you can imagine, if there's people out there who are earning, reflections every 1, 2, or 3 days, they may like to compound those reflections and therefore buy more EverReflect. So it does actually execute a buy, as I mentioned, and it does show up on the chart. So you'll see quite a few small buys. I mean, for our project, we're consistently seeing people compounding their BUSD. So you'll see, small buys going through the chart, throughout the course of the project. The cool thing is, though, obviously reflections are volume-based. So as the roadmap for EverReflect gets built out and there's more volume coming through and reflections are being paid more often, then, you'll really see people kicking into gear here and compounding their reflections quite often and directly buying through the staking contract for their to improve their staking bag. So it's a super cool concept. It allows you guys to, allow your tokens to work for you essentially, or earn some passive income on top of your already reflections-based model. So you can get some extra rewards in there while you're holding your bag. So we're really trying to incentivize people to, go and put your tokens in the staking pool, because it's going to be earning or operating the same way as it would be if you were holding it in your wallet anyway. But you'll also get those extra rewards from staking. So it makes sense, that you're getting those two avenues of income rather than just one. A few things just to talk about as well in terms of just housekeeping for the staking pools. So EverReflect has 2 pools coming up. They're just sitting in the Finish tab for Brewlabs. You can just while they're offline, but they're going to have a few things just that you guys need to be aware of when you're depositing and withdrawing from the pool. In many cases, projects do request some form of fee model, so withdraw or deposit fee, but EverReflect does not have that model. So you guys aren't paying any fees to transfer. You're not being charged any fees for staking by the project. Right. So that means you guys have free reign to, deposit in there without having to pay any deposit or withdrawal fees. One other thing that's really important just to talk about is the lockup period for staking. So the EverReflect team have chosen to have 2 types of lock on their pools. So you've got a 30-day lock pool and a 60-day lock pool. So that means when you guys do stake your tokens into the staking contract, they will be inaccessible for 30 days if you choose a 30-day lock, and 60 days if you choose a 60-day lock. Right? We've did it at 60, but I can change it to 90 in like 2 seconds. Okay. That's fine. Yep. So the locking periods, the way they work is the tokens will be inaccessible, but during that time you can still access your BUSD reflections. You can still compound your EverReflect token. So you've still got free reign over your rewards essentially, and reflections. The only restriction is obviously the access to the tokens. Now, after the 30 days expires, you can unstake the tokens and you can withdraw them out. With including your rewards and everything like that. If you did want to leave them in the staking pool, you can do that as well. then you can pull them out at any time. They still will earn rewards while they're in the staking pool after the lock period has expired.
Will you repeat that, Maverick? Because I think a lot of people,
sure.
especially in the staking world, aren't as familiar with that. So you're telling me if I were to stake tokens after the 30 days, if I don't remove them, I still receive
That's
the APR.
Right. Yep. So it's an initial lock duration. So for anyone who, comes along and decides to stake, say, for example, in the 30-day period, it will lock the tokens for 30 days. But after the 30-day period, they're still able to continue to receive rewards. What you can do, though, is if you did, for example, add more to your stake. So if you were to add, say you staked 100 tokens, 30 days passes, and you still have those tokens in the pool, you can they're obviously going to be earning rewards still. If you came, if you decided, okay, I'm going to stake another 50 tokens, what will happen is when you add them back into the 30-day pool, it's not going to lock 150 tokens. You'll only lock that new stake, which is the 50 tokens. So the 100 tokens will still stay in the pool and still accessible to be withdrawn and still earning rewards. The new stakes, so any new stake that takes place is what the lock is applied to.
Right.
Yep.
And those are nice kind of little tricks, because I think a lot of people, you always just think, all right, you're staking it for 30 days. After 30 days, I have to take it out or I won't be receiving any more APR. Or the same case, like you said, that I can stake more, and actually those initial tokens are still accessible, but the new tokens would be them.
It's incentivizing people to stay in the staking contracts, and there's lots of benefits for that. One of the for the project as a whole, it allows people to, there's just a second barrier there that it would exist for people to, if for whatever reason they're having a bad day, not thinking straight, and they're like, oh, look, I want to sell some of my tokens. They're like, oh, well, actually, I'm earning interest on that. It's working for me, something like that. So for us, like, we try to incentivize everyone to try and stake as often as possible, because, staking is far better than having it in your wallet. Obviously for the reasons that I've explained in terms of rewards, etc. So, it just helps the project as a whole, because, if everyone's staking, then, the chances of people, like as I mentioned, just, not thinking straight and deciding to sell some tokens is less likely, because they're going to be earning stuff. Plus, it allows all the holders to have something to look forward to while they're, waiting for the roadmap to be built out.
Right. Well, and the uniqueness of this, I want to highlight that again, what Brewlabs has been able to do, because we've had conversations with a number of other utility and other platforms that have staking, but the concept of, one, you're not getting taxed for the staking, or there's no fees to go into the staking, and then two, that you're still receiving reflections. Most staking pools would not allow you to, one, receive the reflections or the BUSD rewards. And secondly, yours is set up that you can then harvest or you can compound, which I just, brilliant.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's a new concept. Like, it's certainly something that you won't see on many platforms out there. Right. It's special. Like, one of the main reasons why we've got the pools we have. We added actually 10 more pools on yesterday over the weekend. So we've a lot of people coming in to use this technology, and it's great. Like, it allows. It's just so good for the holders, because there's reflections on most tokens in BSC, and obviously on Ethereum as well, and basically on many tokens. But having the ability to compound those rewards to buy more or to harvest, it really gives the holders the flexibility to have that choice.
Yep, I love it. What you guys have done, we appreciate you so much working during this time being under the weather. So, if you don't mind, first question. So, as everybody's probably nervously sitting there wondering, when can we go live with these on Brewlabs?
I will just push a small, call a small function to change the lock to 90 days, and then I'll press the start button on both pools for you guys. So I can basically do it. If you'll still be going on your AMA. I would expect it will be online before the AMA finishes. I can send you a perfect message. Yep.
And then if there's do you have maybe 5 or 6 minutes, and we could take a couple of questions from the community if there are any?
Yeah, totally.
So before we get to our Morales Scholarship giveaways, and I read off some essays from our community, if there's anybody that has any questions that you want to raise your hand, this is probably a good time. Maverick's time is one of those that he's one of those guys that like he's so busy. So for him to even step out, and he's in a time zone that's quite opposite of me here in Michigan. So if there's any questions, I would highly take advantage of this one. Or if there's any other projects that anybody else is like familiar with, we know that MetaBUSD has used the same one. There's been a lot of positive feedback about their staking. But we don't. Apparently, you've answered every question.
There is one question from Dabos Guy. I'll just answer that question. He says, if you compound BUSD reflections in the staking site, does it charge slippage or a tax? So when you're compounding on with your reflections, it does not charge the tax because the contract itself will sometimes have issues with purchasing and setting slippage. So because the contract is buying, not necessarily the wallet where the user gets to determine what the slippage rate is. So the buys that are done for staking with your reflections are tax-free simply because the contract doesn't have the ability to adjust the slippage because it's not a person. So hopefully
compound.
Yeah, when you compound, so that it's a secondary incentive then there to use those reflections to buy more because you will be buying more without accruing any tax if you're using your BUSD. So that's just important. Yeah. So for anyone out there who's going to be staking, the most important concept to take out of the staking is A, it's good to do. B, it will also, if you're compounding often, there's lots of benefits for compounding often. And then we've designed it in a way for people to be consistently compounding, whether it's through reflections or through their actual rewards, because it just it's a benefit for the project, it's a benefit for the holder. So it's a win-win for both you guys.
Right. Which is still awesome.
Limit. Yeah. Limit had a question. We will get more reward if we stake more token. That is correct. Yep. So it's based on it's a percentage-based return. So if you're going to be staking 100 tokens, and I'm just using round numbers, and the APR is 10%, then you'll get 10 tokens drip fed to you over the term of 12 months. If you're staking 1 million tokens, you will get 100,000 tokens drip fed to you over the course of 12 months. So the incentive there is to stake as much as possible, for that, to maximize that percentage-based return. The one thing just to talk about as well is because you guys have only just started with staking, you've got access to only a small amount of supply for staking because obviously it went through the voting process and everything like that with EJ, and that's really cool that you guys had that community vote. I think it's great to have the everyone have their say. The cool thing is though, if you guys do decide that you want to increase the yield in terms of the APR, then you can let us know. And what will happen is I'll talk to EJ about depositing some more tokens. So if you guys take another vote and say, okay, look, we want to increase the yields rather than doing a burn or, putting it into a vault or something like that, or reserve, let's go put it into the staking pools and top up a little bit. We'll push up that APR a bit. So at that point in time, you would just come and let me know how much you're planning to put in. And then we would essentially organize the deposit with EJ. He would deposit directly into the contract, and then we would go and adjust the rate. So we would be able to push up the rate that that of reward that's being allocated to the holders once that extra liquidity has been added. So you do have that flexibility to be able to do that as well.
Which is kind of beautiful that this, the delayed dev burn has given us the opportunity that it's basically delayed unlocked tokens, 5 trillion every Thursday gives the community the advantage because, as I've said before, they're not my tokens. They're not the team tokens. They're not the board tokens, the community tokens. So being able to have a adamant vocal community to be able to take some of these votes and now getting more familiar with this type of platform and the advantages of this type of staking, I'm sure that we'll end up having some future votes to see what we want to do with those other tokens because it makes a lot of sense to benefit the community.
Yeah. Awesome. So BP had a question as well. Maverick, can you speak a minute or two about security? Of course. So a lot of people also ask about, how secure are staking contracts? Because you hear sometimes that staking platforms do get jeopardized by, hackers, or people trying to attack the staking platform. So the code base that we used for the stake unstake portion of the staking pools is from the PancakeSwap open library. So the core code that the staking pools are built upon is from the PancakeSwap library. So obviously those guys are the largest exchange on in BSC. Their staking pool code has been audited by Certik. And that platform is fully open source, so it's really cool that that platform can allow us to go and utilize all that open source Certik audited code for us to build on top of. So the risk that staking pools have is where people can attack or claim the staked tokens. Right. So if we are using their code base to build upon, we're quite confident that there's not going to be any security issues strictly because we're using exactly the same code as PancakeSwap does. The only thing that we've obviously added in on top of what the PancakeSwap current code base has is the concepts of harvesting, compounding, rewards, and reflections the reflections capture. So because that extra code base doesn't impact the doesn't have anything to do with the actual process of unstaking and staking, which would be where the security threat would exist if someone was able to. Yeah, they would be able to come in and unstake and then take the tokens out. Because we haven't changed like the fundamentals of that concept, that's the same as PancakeSwap. We're confident that there shouldn't be any security issues because that stake and unstake code base should be airtight because it's the same one that's used.
Right. It's kind of like Pancake. It would be basically like PancakeSwap getting hacked and taking liquidity from multiple tokens across the board.
Yeah, basically. Right. If PancakeSwap had a breach and if those guys had issues with security, then that would be something that we would be concerned about because we're using the same code base. But given that they're, I think they're one of the most high scored audited projects on Certik, across their entire ecosystem, we're kind of just taking a page out of their book in terms of their code base. So we're happy with the security side of things for sure.
Yep, and I think
that answers that question.
Craig also had a question that was in the group, and I unmuted you, Craig. You wanted to pop in if you were still there.
Oh man, I think maybe I accidentally hit the button. I'm just chilling here listening.
Hey, good deal. Yeah, the security is I think the security is a big concern, obviously, because of things that we've heard with other staking. Partially the reason we're going with the standard pools. So not that they're any less beneficial, but they're a little bit more time tested and true. And then the fact that the way that Maverick has built this code, not guaranteeing that there's anything is ever foolproof, but those security measures of that code that's already implemented makes me feel much more secure because in essence, if that were to happen with Pancake, or a lot of a lot of liquidities in trouble, or a lot of tokens would be in trouble. So
Yeah, I mean, we're relying on obviously the security of PancakeSwap, but being an open source platform, there's hundreds of developers that would be looking at that code base, and also contributing to the repos, things like that. There's lots of cool stuff, about with open source technologies. There's a lot of people looking at it. So we're more than happy with where that side of the platform is positioned.
we have another question from Crypto Keltner. If you wanted to.
Yes.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, mate.
Hey, so I'm sorry, I probably missed it. I did hear that you said BUSD is not taxed if we compound that, but the actual tax, like the actual tokens that we receive, and if we compound that, one, is that taxed? Two, if we do compound it, is there any way for us to know, like, what's the time frame on that particular part that we've compounded in? Like, so is there like another timer for us to know, like the 30 or 90 days for that one?
And the compound.
Yeah, good question. So to confirm, the compounding of BUSD on the platform earned as reflections is untaxed. So you don't, if you're going to be buying the token, it'll be like 100% purchase. There's no tax in place there. And number two, if you do compound, it's instant. So you don't have to wait any time to access that or anything like that. It's an instant buy that gets added to your current stake, but it does not it does not change. It's not considered a new stake. It's an addition to the current stake. So you don't need to worry about having to wait 30 days to access any compounded rewards or reflection purchases. It's just the addition to your current stake. However, if you were to, say, harvest BUSD, go and buy more EverReflect token and then stake it, that purchase would be considered, that stake would be considered a new stake. So that would attract the 30-day lock if you were in that 30-day pool, for example.
Adding new tokens would be a new stake. However, any of the compounding is not. It would just go into the current time frame that you've already, whether it's the 30-day or the 90-day. Yeah.
That's right. Yep. Perfect. So I think Dravo had a question. What is the total token limit that can be staked in each pool? There is no limit. Essentially, whatever you have I'm not sure does EverReflect have a max wallet restriction?
We do not.
We do not? Cool. So whatever tokens that you have, you can put in there essentially. So you've got the full opportunity of the staking pool there to basically put your entire bag in there if you'd like to. One thing just to keep in mind though is the way the APR works. So the annualized yield is dependent on the number of participants in the pool. So if everyone's going to be staking, obviously the rewards are diluted heavily across a number of people. The reward APR would probably be a lot less if, say, for example, only 50% of the tokens were staked by the holders. So, you'll be able to determine yourselves as a community, and this is where the increasing of the rate comes in and the contribution of more liquidity. You guys will be able to determine as a community and say, okay, look, we've got, say, 12% of the total supply in the staking pools. Let's, as in terms of the holders staking their bags and making up 12% of the total supply. And the reward isn't as high as we would like it to be. Let's increase that reward by adding more liquidity and increasing that reward rate. Then it will probably incentivize other people to go and stake because the reward is higher. So there's a little bit of kind of management there from you guys from a community perspective as well in terms of how you would like to treat the pool. And how you would like the pool to, I guess, how the rewards are going to be treated. So, you guys have got that flexibility to vote internally, so you can, make those decisions as time goes on.
Yep, which is excellent. Question from DL.
Yes, hello guys. Yeah.
Hey DL.
Yeah, I just joined, so I don't know if this question was already answered or not, but I was just wondering. Let's say you decide to stake, 100% of your tokens. And how does the BUSD reflection incur? Do we still are the tokens being staked, or are they still eligible for volume reflections, or is it only through?
Yeah, absolutely. So they totally do, and you do have the ability to, once you've staked your tokens, you can have access to those reflections on the platform, so you can go and harvest them. So that would be the process of taking them out of the staking contract and into your wallet. And then you can go, do whatever you want with the BUSD, or you can use the compound feature on the platform, which will automatically buy more EverReflect tokens for you and add them to your current staked amount, and therefore increase the percentage return that you're getting on that staked amount because you're increasing your bag size. So you do have those two options there. You've got the auto buy or the harvest side of things. So you do absolutely get all your reflections that you would be normally entitled to as holding the tokens in your wallet.
With the options. Yep. Question for. Oh, yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's. Are the BUSD subject to the, like, say, the 30-day penalty or 60-day?
No, absolutely not. You can. The 30 days is only applies to the initial tokens that you have staked in the contract, and likewise with the 90-day. So any BUSD that you're earning or any tokens rewards that you're earning, you can harvest them out at any time. But the incentive is to compound them if you would like to do that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Cool, thank you. We have a question from PSAT. PSAL, did you hear me? We also have a question from Old Coach, so we'll let Old Coach jump in front of you.
No worries.
Howdy, Matt. Couple of questions. First of all, just a clarification. The BUSD compound, the BUSD buyback will be coming from the EverReflect contract itself, correct?
Absolutely right, yes.
Okay. Secondly, time frame. The lockup period for the 30-day, let's just use a number. Let's say it's 4 trillion tokens for 30 days. That's where the APR is based. What happens when people come in the middle of that 30-day period?
So each lockup is unique to each holder. So the pool duration actually runs for 365 days. Okay. So what happens is it will accommodate for people coming and going and locking for 30 days over a 12-month period. So if you go in and lock 4 trillion tokens, say today for 30 days, your 30-day lock cooldown will start as of today. But if I come along in 4 days and lock 1 trillion tokens for 30 days, that's when my 30-day lock will commence. So it does allow for wallet holders to lock at any time they want. Essentially, it won't allow people to lock 30 days, the last 30 days of the contract. The last 29 days. It'll essentially won't allow for any more participants in the pool right at the very end of the pool. So
right at the end of the 365 days.
Yeah.
Right?
So yeah.
Well, I guess I didn't. My question was, I understood that. But the actual tokens that are paying the interest are the ones that EverReflect locks, which that's a 365-day lock on theirs. Correct?
The tokens that are in the actual contract themselves are, yes, they are locked in that contract for 365 days. Yeah.
And so that APR for that the EverReflect locked in your contract are based on a 365-day return.
Correct. Yes, it's an annualized. Yeah,
correct.
It's an annualized yield. That's right. Yeah. So, at the
So,
current rate.
30 days, the last 30 days aren't going to, if you go on 29 days left, there's no longer a period for you to compound. So you wouldn't be allowed to join.
Right.
Up until,
Yeah. So you in the last 29 days of the staking pool, it wouldn't allow any more participants in because the lock would exceed the duration of the pool. So basically, anyone who is in the pool right at the very end, obviously they're going to be the ones who are going to get the last rewards, and the APR wouldn't change essentially after that particular date, with the 29 or 30 days to go, because there'd be no more participants coming into the pool.
Right.
and then the last thing would be any additional equity into the pool contract can be added anytime during that 365 days.
Correct. Yeah.
So if EverReflect were to say next week 5 million more we're going to be added to the pool, that would just increase the APR of that pool.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Okay. I understand it very well. I was just asking these questions for the folks.
Yeah, that's okay. No worries. It's
Right.
for some. It's a new concept. Like especially the technical side of things, and it's more than welcome to ask as many questions as you like. The cool thing about having that flexibility to increase APR is really awesome because this is a 365-day pool, so you guys have that entire time frame to work with to increase rates. You can even decrease them if you wanted to, but probably not many people doing that. But you can always just increase, and it gives you guys, as a community and a project, the opportunity to really control the way the pool is going to provide rewards.
Yep.
And this is a non-farming pool, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So this is a staking pool. There is no EverReflect farm open at the moment. I don't know if EJ wants to go down that path. Farms are different to staking pools. They allow people to, instead of staking the tokens, like for example, EverReflect token, people would be staking LP tokens. So people who are helping provide liquidity, they can stake in LP tokens and they can earn rewards through that particular type of pool. The farming pools have very high APR, usually over 100% in most cases, but they do come with more risk. So you do have impermanent loss that you are exposed to when you're farming. So it's I don't know, maybe something that you guys might want to consider later, but at this point in time,
right?
Yeah.
At this time, we wanted to do kind of the safest, coupled with the fact that this is kind of the first initial pools to be able to get people's feet wet to the concept, but not necessarily oversaturate everything with too much information too soon. Because even though these are the standard staking pools, there's still a lot of information and they're still pretty robust because of what your contract is doing.
Yeah. This is like, sorry.
It is a unique concept with the BUSD buyback because that increases the value of the coin as well. So that's a very unique concept. I really do like that one.
Yeah, it's cool. We can't do it with every token because some tokens obviously, it has to be stablecoin or BNB to be able to offer that. In some cases, the tokens that have, say for example, they're reflecting their own token, we can compound and harvest those tokens, but we can't. It doesn't trigger a buy because they're just getting the token back. But the BUSD definitely does help. Any other stablecoin or BNB does help because it gives the project that extra buying power. So essentially, people are buying back the swap and liquefy event to a certain degree. So super cool.
Yeah.
Well, it just increases value overall, and it makes it. And for people who understand it, it's actually a loop that's created when that happens. Because when USD is generated, and then you buy more tokens with it, it generates more BUSD that you can buy more tokens with it. Now it's a decreasing loop, but it's still a loop, and it could be very beneficial to the EVRF platform. Period.
Right.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
We also had a question.
What questions to ask is all. That's all.
What's that?
I just know which questions to ask is all.
That's good.
Uh,
T, you have a great day as well. T Sal, you had a question as well.
Sorry, I just accidentally hit it. I'm good. Thanks.
Oh, you're okay. Good deal. So I know that we've taken up a ton of Maverick's time.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Well,
Drava had another question as well, actually. I might answer this last one. Drava had a question. The APR is diluted by A number of participants, or B, the number of total tokens staked overall by the participants. So so it's a number of tokens staked overall by the participants. So if you have, say for example, 100 people staking, and it is, and they've staked say 5% of total supply, compared to 100 people staking and they're staking 10% of total supply, the last one, the latter, option B, that the APR would be more diluted because there's more of supply. The quantity of tokens in the contract determine how the yield is paid. So it basically, the more tokens in the contract, whether they're held by one individual or many individuals, will dilute the APR.
In the middle section of, if everybody looks on that staking pools link for Brewlabs, you'll see in the middle it shows total stake. So that will be the total number of all community members that have stake, and so you'll be able to watch that specific number for both of our pools as well, which is a nice feature that not all of them show.
Yeah, that's right. So you'll have total staked in there, so you'll be able to tell how much of supply is staked. It's really cool because, people who are staking in there, you can get a good idea. Like as a community, you can say, oh, look, we've got 10% of the total supply staked in the contract. So that means that's 10% of total supply, not in people's wallets, and it's not there essentially to be sold because it's in a lockup period for most part. So it's like almost like a little banking program where the funds are there, everyone can see it. But they can't be just sold on the chart at any given time.
Right, they're not as easily liquid. You most likely are waiting the 30 days or some portion of the 30 days or some portion of the 90 days.
Yep.
You are. Oh, we have. Are you cool with 2 more questions?
Yeah, of course, man. I do have a 9 o'clock, which is in 13 minutes, but more than happy to answer more questions for sure.
P12 will let you go, and then Ray will let you go, and then those will be the last 2 questions. Then we'll read our essays, and then thank Maverick one more time. So P12,
I'm not sure. Maybe I missed this. I just jumped on, but I'm just looking over the security risk or security features because I was in the last little situation and that wasn't right. But that's what I'm just looking for, security for staking.
Yeah, we had answered that earlier. Basically, we can go into that again, but the contract basically.
Yeah, I don't mind. Okay. Yeah, so good question, and it's definitely something that it should be addressed, when you're staking for the first time, is considering how secure the platform is. So the code base for the staking pools that we've built have been built on top of the PancakeSwap open library. So all of their staking, like PancakeSwap is an open source platform, so you can go and access all their information about basically every component of that platform through their repo. So we've essentially, with their staking contracts, we've forked those, which is a term used basically for copy. But then we've added some additional features on top of the forked versions. Now, the compromises for staking platforms are the actual risks to people attacking or obtaining the staked tokens themselves. So we didn't actually change any of the staking code, all the concepts of how people stake and unstake. We only added in the harvest compound and the reflections-based code to capture those reflections rather and compound and harvest those. So the code base used for the staking and unstaking is the same that PancakeSwap use. And you can go through and have a look at their, I guess, audits and security rating from Certik. Their platform's obviously very highly rated by Certik, and being open source, it's great that we can go and have that opportunity to basically take the foundations of PancakeSwap and then just build on top of them.
Awesome. Thank you for the question. And then the last question we'll take from Ray. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, how's it going? I actually didn't have a question. I'm cooking and I mistakenly pushed the button, but I think I hopped on.
Okay, so question for you. What are you cooking?
What are you cooking?
Listen, I'm making pasta for the kids.
Nice.
My wife's studying, so I have to go the easy route. But since I'm on, I've never staked before, right? So how do I go about it? Will there be a step-by-step tutorial for me?
Yeah, that's a good question. We actually do have a channel just as part of Brewlabs. It's called the Brewlabs Education Channel, and there is a I'll get it for you here, a number of guides on there, and I'll just see if I might just forward these messages into your chat. Is that okay, EJ?
Yes, without a doubt, for sure. Anything that will help with the facilitating of the education portion of it. And then we will post them and pin them as well.
No worries. Okay, so we'll just forward these through. Sorry, there's a few walls of text just to read through, but this has all been put together by our mods and also our community manager, who is also an accountant. Okay, and
so has the proper verbiage.
Yeah. So he'll have all the information in there for you guys to read through, and I'll just get this. Okay, trying to find a video. How to stake. Here we go. I think this is it.
Yep.
Okay, how to manually claim, how to see the balances, how to farm, permanent loss.
And I'll go back through all the links that we have on Brewlabs, because I do know that when we get off this AMA, that you'll end up basically turning over the switch once we have it to the 30 and 90 days, and then it'll be live for our community. So as soon as we'll be in the Telegram, letting everybody know as soon as we see it live up on Brewlabs, and then you'll be able to begin. But it is a fairly simple process in the concept of, if you look at the link that we had posted, it's connecting your wallet, and then it'll show you basically an amount that you can, from the tokens that are in that connected wallet, that you can then choose to stake. So if it's 1 million or if it's 1 billion, you can choose to stake the full 100%, 50%, 25%.
I can't share the discussion because the guide is so long for the staking. What I might do is just in that's maybe we've got it one here. Sorry, if I can find another one.
No, you're good.
Okay, so instead of just like posting 1 million posts as part of this step-by-step guide here, what I'll do is I will just post the channel, and then you guys can go in and have a look at the actual channel. And then if you find the there is that last image that I posted, the Brewlabs Institute one, if you find that particular image and hit the comments section, that's where the mod Mad Bunny is his name. He's put in all the step-by-step images. It was just too long for one big post. So what I'll do is I will just add, so that is the channel there for the for people to go in. So you can go into view channel, just scroll down to that same image where it says it's got the picture of the staking platform, and then just hit the 18 comments section, and you'll be able to see the steps he's got outlined there for you, because he wasn't able to film a video. Sorry.
Well, I know you have another meeting here in 6 minutes, so not to keep you any longer. I know that you already ended up taking almost an hour of your time today, and you did this over the weekend. I know, but we appreciate it because it's saying a lot. We know we're all living in this COVID era, and to be able to go through that and still get these contracts done for us, we are eternally grateful. So pumped, so excited that people will be able to utilize this platform, the concepts of Brewlabs that you guys have done with these contracts are just awesome with the compound and with the harvest. So thank you.
No worries at all.
You are the professor, and you proved it again today.
No worries. Thanks, guys. And big thanks to EJ for letting me come on and talk about it. And yeah, jumping on board with the Brewlabs platform. There's a lot of other cool tools that we'll be building out that we can integrate, both projects into. And yeah, we look forward to, I guess, growing out the relationship.
Yep, without a doubt. It's an awesome partnership. You're an awesome man. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, EJ. You too.
Enjoy your next meeting. Okay, bud?
Thanks, guys. Have a good evening. See ya.
Thank you. See ya. So I've almost taken up an hour of everybody's time. One other aspect that we wanted to cover in this AMA, starting this past week, we had a competition to help focus our basically our motto and initiative to increase education in the blockchain space. That involved using the Morales Academy. So there was a sweep widget that was put out. A number of people submitted their essays. I think that the platform may have limited some people from being able to write out the full 300 words. So we apologize for that. We'll make sure that we end up either using potentially other platforms, whether it's going to be a blog on our website for weeks coming up or potentially Reddit. But we did have two that were, I would say, stepped out, and they were kind of above the others. So I'm going to what we're going to be doing is offering a year-long scholarship to the Morales Academy. This will give you the opportunity to take their initial intro classes in regards to blockchain development, creating your own decks, creating your own DApps, and just some actual tools. So EverReflect as a team, we have purchased these year-long memberships to their academy, and we'll be giving them out every Sunday. The plan was to give out one today. Because of both of these essay answers that I will read here in a second, I decided that we're going to award both of them the scholarships for today. So I will not read the name of the person, but you will be receiving an email from us to confirm that you are a winner. Most likely the confirmation from Morales will come within 24 hours and that you'll have access sometime tomorrow. So without further ado, the first essay winner was: as blockchain technology continues to evolve, so will its professional opportunities. I feel the world is on the brink of another ARPANET. So ARPANET, basically the precursor to the internet, of another ARPANET moment, perhaps even an inflection point, which will directly affect the way people do business. This moment in blockchain, with financial institutions acknowledging the disruptiveness of the blockchain, predictions are that the blockchain will reach critical mass around 2024. So I would suggest that it's better to surf the wave before it's too late. So very thoughtful. And obviously the person took their time to even reference, they think that this transition in today's day and age with what we're seeing in blockchain is even like the start and precursor to the internet. So thank you for that submission. They will be winning a Morales Academy year-long scholarship. And now for the second essay, which I thought was interesting the first time I read it, because I was kind of a little taken back. And then as I read it again, I was like, I like this guy. I like what he's trying to say here. And I will read that one now. So his essay, I believe that the topic of this essay is wrongly formulated. Right there. The essay topic was, why do you want to learn blockchain development? So I believe that the topic of this essay is wrongly formulated. Instead of asking why someone would want to learn blockchain development, it should ask why someone would not want to learn it. It is like asking why someone wants to be forward-thinking or ambitious. Those are human traits which everyone should have. As blockchain technology is as innovative as it can get, why would you not want to challenge yourself and learn more about it? Personally, I have been fascinated by computer science and development. Loved it. Like, I just think that the middle portion of what he's talking about is so spot on with the core values of EverReflect and things, why I'm so ambitious about this, why our team is so ambitious about this, why the community is so ambitious in regards to just blockchain development. This gentleman understands the concept that it's more than just the token. The token is a part of this whole ecosystem, but we're growing the ecosystem from things that are utilities within inside the bubble to utilities that are outside of that bubble. So as I said, I will not read the names of both of those individuals, but you both will be receiving an email from me. Most likely you'll have access within the next 24 hours to the Morales Academy. We will run another promotion with an essay this week on a different platform, and we'll read up another winner next Sunday at our AMA. So thank you so much for everybody that took the time. I know that it was a little. What's that?
Let me remind you now. I agreed to give monthly membership to the winner. Since you picked two winners, you just like spending my money, so I'll give it to both of them. So
I do.
DM me their Telegram or whatever username so I can get in contact with them and give them their memberships.
Okay, done and done. Yeah, thank you for that, Coach. So not only will they be receiving a 1-year membership to the Morales Academy, Coach has also been so humble to give them a membership to Tango Crypto Tier 2 Discord for those two winners as well. So, and I do like spending your money, Coach. Come on. I mean, why wouldn't I?
You're good. I don't mind one bit.
So with that being said, we are just over the hour mark. I once again want to thank everybody for your questions today. Obviously, Coach always being here, such a great friend. But first and foremost, hands off, standing O goes to Maverick from Brewlabs. The man, once again, steals the show. He's such a knowledgeable asset. And the fact that we have not only Brewlabs, but him in our circle of influence and a part of the partnerships that we are building with EverReflect for cross-token utilization, it's once again proving the point that we are going to be strategic partners with other legit projects over and over. And at the end of the day, we plan on being able to have EverReflect utilized on more platforms than basically anybody else that's in this space with a BUSD reward token. So on that, I will sign off. We will be recording this and it'll be posted to YouTube. And I will make sure that I'm in Telegram to be able to post those links as soon as it goes live, because the staking pool on Brewlabs, the staking pools will go live here shortly. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a great evening, and I will talk to you soon.